Welcome to Patty's Podcast, where we explore authentic stories and inspiring passions from everyday people. As an American who spent 25 years in Kuwait, Patty brings a unique perspective to her conversations. For her 50th birthday, she's finally ticking off a long-time bucket list by launching this podcast. Join us as we celebrate this milestone and dive into the incredible journeys of Patty and her special guests. Enjoy the episode and get ready for a deep dive in this simulation we call life.
Oh, he has a couple of his hands. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
I have a very special guest, and I'm so happy that you're here. This is my friend, Claudia Al-Rashoud, and I'm so glad that you're here because we have so many wonderful things to talk about, but most of all, I want to talk about how we're from the same tumbleweed area.
I know. It's such a coincidence.
Right? What a coincidence, you know. I think that it's amazing that the world is that small. And
exactly.
And I think, subhanAllah, people's paths cross each other at the right times. I mean, our paths meant to be. Yeah. And, it's just we come from such a small little place, but the people that come out of the place are resilient, just like the weather, right? And creative. And because of the diversity that's there, when I look back on like my graduating class and stuff, there so many people have gone different ways in doing their own things. And for me, because I was part of the Air Force Base and Moreno Valley, part of that environment, I watch the interactions between people that were related to the base or the people that were related to the farms or the people that had to commute to Orange County to work. And it's a unique little city. It's apparently really, really big now. Riverside is dear to my heart, but tell me now about yourself, a little bit about you, and then we'll dive right into our topics for the day.
Right, sure. Well, like you were saying, I'm from Riverside, California, and on the edge of the Mojave Desert.
Yes.
So we both kind of traded one desert for another.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We just like the desert.
Maybe that's part of the reason we feel so comfortable here.
Maybe, yeah, definitely.
But I lived like all over the world growing up because of my father's work, and then ended up in Kuwait in 1979. I had just graduated from University of California, Riverside, studying journalism and photography, and came and started working as a photojournalist and became the first female photojournalist for the Arab Times newspaper.
Amazing. Amazing. I have most of your books, so you're a writer and amazing photography, great storyteller. But most of all, your life now, you're dedicating it to animals' rights here in the state of Kuwait.
Right. And
I think that is magnificent. I myself, I try to do my little bit. I've got 15 cats at home.
Good for you.
My daughter does cat sitting because she does it mostly because people, when they want to take their trips and they don't have anybody to watch the cats, and then some of these other places that offer services are outrageously priced. It's not within their range. And
it's a great service that she's doing.
It is. It's a great service.
Much needed.
And you have been on that forefront for years, but tell us a little bit about what is the news now and the official news now.
Right. Well, we're really happy and proud that over the summer we managed to establish the Kuwait Society for Animal Welfare, and it's an official nonprofit organization under the Ministry of Social Affairs and Labor.
So proud of you guys.
And alhamdulillah, we're so happy. It was, a huge step and something that we'd been working towards for years. Yeah.
Sweat, blood, and tears, literally, and
Definitely.
finances.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that's amazing. So I've set up some questions. I wanted to keep it natural, to friends talking, but I really want you to highlight on this aspect of what you guys are doing because I think it needs to be known, and I wanted to dedicate this whole episode to that because it's a big deal to be official, and when something is official, that means other people can take actions with you,
yes,
and help out and contribute, whether it's volunteering, whether it's financially, whether it's spreading the news. Like when you're official, that's it. We don't have to worry about, oh, what's going to happen? Are they going to shut down? Are they allowed to do this? Are we allowed to do this?
Right.
You know, as people that want to help out. And that's why I wanted to dedicate this whole episode to that. So my first question, what inspired you to become an animal rights activist, and how did your journey begin here in Kuwait? Just real brief.
Right. I always say that, the animals find us. And
Love that.
They do. All my animals
It's
have found me.
Every single one of my cats have come to our home. Absolutely.
And my first rescue was like a little Persian mix who just walked into our yard like at midnight one summer night and sat in front of me and looked at me and kind of said, well, I've come to live with you. And
I'm here to stay.
That's it.
Aww.
Yeah. And so just witnessing the suffering of the animals on the streets, it's something like, I don't know how people can close their eyes to it.
Yeah.
And for me, I love living in Kuwait, but seeing the suffering of the stray animals and the animals that have been dumped, pets have been just abandoned, neglected, suffering from injuries, suffering from the elements. This is the worst thing about life in Kuwait for me.
Especially with the weather that we have, the extreme weather. I mean, even for me, because behind my house, we have a very non-caring breeder of cats. So all of my rescues, except for like the 2 that my daughter brought home in the summer, kittens, all of my rescues are very high-bred, expensive cats that have been used and abused for breeding purposes. And one of the stories that come to mind is the one I told you about, my beautiful white snowball. We call her Luna. And we thought she was delivering because she was bleeding, and her tummy was so huge. It was literally dragging on the floor. Yeah. So the next she came in midnight, we were, we're sitting outside in the front. I was actually coming home from an event at Sanctuary, and my daughter and my husband were sitting in the front enjoying the weather. And we hear this meowing, and here's this big, huge white cat, barely any hair, and bleeding. So she had just recently been shaved, and she was out. And so that morning, we took her straight, to the veterinary hospital.
She came asking for help.
Yes, exactly. So that statement you said that they find you, it really resonates with me, because we took her. It was emergency surgery. And she got a tummy tuck at the same time.
Oh.
she had a hernia. But her fallopian tubes and her uterus were wrapped around her ovaries, and it was just all an entanglement. And the doctor said that she was forced to breed 2 or 3 times outside of the normal cycle of fertility for cats. So she was forced with injections, and he showed us the scars where they do it. And my heart just hurts. And she's the sweetest thing ever. And she's so attached to my husband. She's really quiet, and she's an older cat. So they didn't have any use for her anymore.
Yes.
When they
can no longer reproduce, throw them out.
Yeah, and she's a Norwegian forest cat, which is really rare. And she's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful cat. Her soul is, she just purrs and comes to, she just sits. She's so elegant. So this is a big issue in Kuwait, and I'm really so glad that you guys are official now. And I'm going to do whatever is in my ability and power out of the love that I have, just like you, and the passion that we share for helping the animals in Kuwait. We're going to make this work, inshallah, with God's grace.
We need community support.
Yes.
It's a huge issue, like you said, and we can't do it alone.
Yes. And
we're a very small team, and we're working like crazy. And there are so many, issues to address on our list, but step by step, we're going to have to tackle them. Things won't change overnight.
I'm sure you guys have collected photos over the years and different things. I think it'd be an amazing new edition, a new book of this journey of yours with your photos and your writing, and then letters from your community and your volunteers.
That's an idea.
Yeah. I think it'd be like a nice new update on your journalism and photo shoot skills, and combining those purposes together. And and using that also for, a type of, fundraising or a type of
raising awareness.
And then leaving your legacy behind, and that this is what the years when I came, these were the middle years, and now these are the years how I'm choosing to spend the second part of my life dedicated to this cause.
Right.
And even if you could reach out to the people that you've helped find homes, cats and dogs and whatever homes, even the ones overseas over the years, just on your own,
right,
not related to the organization, but that journey. And hey, can you send me a picture now of our fur baby that you decided to take care of?
Yeah.
I think that'd be a really amazing book. How do cultural attitudes towards animals in Kuwait influence your activism?
Right. One common question that we get where people kind of challenge us and they say, why should we help animals when there's so many people in need? And given the world situation and the horrible things going on now in the world,
We are a water-friendly podcast. Water-friendly.
Yes. I can understand, but I always say, usually people who help animals, people who have mercy for animals, are people who help people as well.
I love that.
We can and should do both. Connection. And there are so many reasons to help animals, ethically, practically, from a religious standpoint. Yeah. And if you think of the history of so many different types of animals that people domesticated them and made them dependent on us for their existence.
Yeah.
Look at dogs, for example. People domesticated them very, very early on in human history for guarding, for herding, for security.
Yes.
So when they've become totally dependent on us, it's our duty to take care of them.
Yes.
And then also from a religious standpoint, and I think most religions talk about kindness to animals.
Exactly.
And Islam, there are so many, many very specific instructions.
Yes.
And, one of the hadith, the sayings of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, says that an act of kindness to an animal is the same as an act of kindness to a person. Mm-hmm. And an act of cruelty towards an animal is as bad as cruelty to a human being. So many, many specific instructions that often are overlooked.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that is.
Okay.
I'll give you one example. Yeah. Like in the summer, I went to the Jam'iyyah and I saw this very skinny cat outside, and
she was save them all.
Yeah, and we can't save them all, unfortunately. There are how many thousands of stray cats and thousands of stray dogs, which people don't see so much because they're out in industrial areas, construction sites, etc. Yeah, but we all see the cats, and so. When I went in, I bought like a little container of cat food in the plastic where I could just remove the lid. And I said, let me at least give her some food for the day. And I just went out and I went around the corner so that I wouldn't bother anyone or be in the way. And I was just removing the lid of the cat food and put it down. And this man started yelling at me at the top of his lungs. And he ran over to me and he was saying, Gaza, people need food in Gaza.
Oh my God.
I said, I know they do. And I said, God help them. I said, I do what I can,
it's not
for
his
the
business.
situation in Gaza. And I pray for the people in Gaza. And I pray for the animals. And I said, we're all God's creatures. Allah khalaqna kullana.
Exactly.
So why can't we help people and animals?
Yeah.
And so we had this chat, and after a while, he kind of calmed down a bit.
Okay.
And then at the end, he actually said, okay, thank you very much. And then I started thinking about it. Why was he so angry? Why did my act of mercy towards an animal spark this furious reaction? And so then I thought, well, maybe he thought I'm just some ignorant expat who doesn't know what's going on in Gaza, who doesn't, understand the situation in the Middle East.
Yeah.
I'm angry about that as well.
Exactly.
And that's,
we've dedicated our lives here.
So possibly that was it. But I talked to a friend who's an Islamic scholar, and he said, that man's reaction was completely wrong and unjustified.
Exactly.
And it really kind of, just shook me up, someone, coming out of nowhere and sort of verbally assaulting me. So
people are on edge.
Yes.
People are on edge. And I think, going back to your point, that if we are kind to animals, that develops a empathetic personality.
Definitely.
And my background in psychology and social behavior, we had a whole class dedicated to serial killers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to go too much into the dark side. I want to keep it, a happy podcast. But most of them, I think it was pretty much 99% of them, they start off with cruelty to animals and they're torturing.
Exactly.
So I think that's a really good point. So what are some ideas how you're planning to engage with the community here in Kuwait and get people on board and help out as much as they can in whatever capacity they can?
Right. Well, now as Kuwait Society for Animal Welfare, we're just getting established. We're still kind of going through the bureaucracy, and it's a learning curve. It's a whole new operation.
Allah sahal
now.
And make it an easy journey, inshallah.
But like you said, it gives us the opportunity to network more.
Network, okay.
It gives us a platform to launch education campaigns.
I love this.
Community campaigns, trap, spay, neuter.
I want this
campaign.
I want to be a part
we really
of
need
this.
that. Yeah.
That helps.
So we have many goals, and step by step, we hope to make a long-term difference. And as we were saying, like, education is so important.
It is. Awareness.
We don't want to just offer Band-Aid solutions. We're here for the long run. This is something not about individuals. It's a movement, and we have to structure it so that it will carry on long after I'm gone and the other people, with me. We need to engage young Kuwaitis.
Okay.
And we do have a lot of Kuwaiti animal lovers who are ready to
So you want to
jump
concentrate
on board.
on outreach programs for the younger generation.
Yeah.
That's going to be amazing.
I'm already going to a lot of schools.
Which is why social media presence, we've had this conversation, is so important because they all use it.
Yes.
They're literally born with it in their hands now. Okay.
For sure.
So just, kind of recircling back to that man that was so upset about Gaza, and rightly so, especially now we've seen heightened aggression in the region, and also Lebanon. And, Lebanon is close to me because I'm mixed with Lebanese. So it's like, what is happening?
It's beyond belief.
It is. And it's very sad. And I spent a whole day after that last aggression. I try not to get onto I watch the news, but I have my set timings and stuff, and when during the day. I don't just endlessly scroll and let it, because I won't be able to function, and then therefore I won't be able to help properly.
Yes.
If I'm just sitting there in a depressed state. I rather be exposing, building awareness, writing my blog, helping donate, or gathering money. So there's so many different things that we can do, and it's up to the individual. And I'm really sorry that man, but you sounded like you handled it quite well, and God put him in that moment with you in that exact moment for a purpose. And maybe there was some enlightenment happening on both parts. The cat got a good meal. That's all that matters. It got its moisture and meal for the day, So what I do is all my guests, this is the puzzle that we need to work on. That's what it looks like. Yes, yours. I don't know if I put it in this camera. And so all my guests sign after you put some pieces together. Just sign the back. So when I look back on this podcast, I will have memories of the guests that I had. So we'll work on that. And
nice.
It's Free Palestine. We are watermelon friendly podcast. And
excellent.
I just
another way of raising awareness. And
silently and in a positive way. There's 7. I don't know what to call them, like clues, I guess, that are like symbolism for my Palestine love, So can you, let's decipher some of them.
Right. Well, the
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, the watermelon has become the symbol.
The symbol.
Yeah. And the flag.
Okay.
And the
3.
dove of peace that we all hope and pray for. Now, I'm sure that the key is maybe for the homes that people have lost.
Yep.
And some of those people still have the keys, but they no longer, sadly, have the homes.
Yes.
The olives.
Yes.
Of course, and that's a horrible part of the destruction as well. The destruction of the olives and the whole agricultural system, the livelihood.
Hundreds of years old.
Yeah.
Hundreds of years old.
Yeah.
And I've got the candle of hope there, always lighting a candle of hope. That's an ode to my cultural beliefs and also the religion that I was before I decided to become Muslim. Candles are symbolic, and so the candle of hope. And there's an old stamp there on a notebook.
Oh, okay.
The original Palestinian stamps. So yeah, that's my little tidbit that I do for anybody who will come across my videos later on YouTube, inshallah.
Nice. Make people reflect.
Try some of your smoothie.
Oh, okay.
This is sponsored by my smoothie for my own podcast. This is really, I didn't realize that my nutrition journey and helping ladies with lupus and then my spice business would all end up into this adventure. And it's going really well.
Okay.
Don't forget to say Bismillah. So I chose red. I usually give my guests green.
It's really nice.
Thank you. Pomegranate, pomegranate, beetroot, acai, strawberry, and just a little bit of raspberry.
Wow, very nice. Not too sweet and nice and refreshing.
And really good for our liver. I have a mustache for the juice. I should have brought straws. Do we have straws? في عود عندنا عود ما عندنا ها. I should have brought straws. So I made it this color because of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And so I'm trying to do everything pink and red tones and stuff.
Yeah, and you've been really active in that field.
I love, I'm doing my purpose. It's, redness, subhanAllah, the way that red vegetables, red fruits, spices like sumac, saffron, achote, the annetto seed that's like, we have it really everywhere wild in California. They have anthocyanins in them, and that is really good in helping to prevent disease, especially cancer. So
much needed. Oh my goodness!
So people need to put sumac on everything. Yes. Put sumac everywhere. It's yummy, anyways. It's not just made for fatouche, Like it's yummy. So this is the personalized smoothie that I do.
Very nice. Now all your areas of interest have tied together. You've tied them together and using them for a good purpose.
Yeah, and I keep asking God to guide me so that I can, the whole reason I'm doing the podcast is celebrating my 50th birthday.
MashaAllah.
Alhamdulillah. It's like I want to step out of my comfort zone and do the things that have been on my bucket list. I've raised my kids. I still have a young one at home. She's 16, and I've got 3 in university. Me and my husband are a nice, comfortable zone in our marriage. It's a challenge to. We've been married 25 years. I can imagine.
I'm on over 40.
Exactly.
Years, yeah,
and it's hard. It's hard to maintain a marriage, right? And people grow, and. I'll never forget there was one, I can't remember who it was, but it was right when Instagram started getting popular and they introduced videos instead of pictures. And there was one guy, they were like, "What's your secret on marriage?" And the guy said, "I've been married 7 times.
Oh.
And then everybody, of course, stops and is like, "What?" And he's like, "My wife has changed and developed 7 different personalities." He meant it in a nice way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he meant it in a nice way.
And
I've been with her on that journey, so I've married 7 different women, and I love them all.
Oh, mashallah. That's
and
really
I
nice.
thought, wow, that's really deep. And I sent that to my husband, and my husband was like, when I realized that is the fact about women. You go through these things because you're really deep into your motherhood, or you're deep into your career, or you're deep into education. You get phases. And those phases are your personality. That is who you are for that time period. And if our husbands could lean in on that.
Yeah. And if we both grow in directions that are, doesn't have to necessarily be the same, but compatible.
Women change faster than men do. Men kind of just find that nice comfort zone. So that they can be stable and steady and be the provider. Our personalities, we are much more adaptable and quick to change, and we're okay with change than men are. So that's why I made the podcast, and it's like it's called Let's Talk. It's all the people that I've met in Kuwait, and like their journey and what their passions are. So let's get back to our kitty cat stuff. Because I love cats.
But I just want to mention, that's one of the great things about living in Kuwait is that we can just meet people and support people who are doing wonderful things. And we all kind of network and try to support our causes. And we know each other personally. And we know that... and
then you build your tribe.
And we trust each other. There has to be a certain level of trust. And I don't think that you would... if I was back in Riverside or Los Angeles or whatever, I wouldn't have this opportunity to know people on such a close level.
Intimate,
right?
Because Kuwait is so small.
Yeah. I always say Kuwait's like one big coincidence.
Oh, I love that.
I always feel like that. And you do, you do meet the people that you're meant to meet along your journey. And people play different roles at different times in your life.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree on that.
I'm not very good at puzzles, Patty.
Well, I know. And the part of how I am with my social behavior stuff, I'm always trying to find ways. Apparently a puzzle is going to help us keep our memories and work our brains and all that jazz.
Which is important.
So I just said I want to do something different on the podcast and concentrate, and it's like my silent way to always say my message.
Nice, I'm at beginner's level puzzles nowadays because my grandson Faisal is 2 years old.
So those
and
big pieces.
We're starting off with the big chunky ones, but mashallah, he's like... so quick and he's really excited about putting them together. So it is a really nice skill.
It's a big thing in my house. We're always doing puzzles and stuff. And how's your patch journey going?
Right.
I'm wearing my patch. If you have any questions, you can DM me.
I've been using it and the X39, and I feel like it just gives me that little boost. I always have this sluggish time, like right after lunch, where I'm like, just so tired. But then I have things to do. I have work to finish, projects to complete. And so it just kind of gives me that little bit of stamina that I need to keep going. And that's been really helpful.
And the Aeon, how have you felt that it works with the calming you down?
It takes a lot to calm me down.
Okay.
I'm a bad sleeper, but I think it has taken the edge off some of that insomnia that I have.
Soft. Well, that's good news. It's good news. It's changed my life. It's changed my kids' lives. And we need to work on our puzzle. Like every guest, maybe I gotta cheat and take it home. What do you guys say? I take some home and cheat. What are some practical steps that individuals can take to support the newly official organization and also support animal rights and welfare in their own daily personal lives?
Right. Okay. Great question.
Thanks.
Follow us on Instagram. We've just started. We just have a few posts.
I will say the Instagram account again.
KSAW _Q8. So KSAW _.
I'm going to put it in the thingamajiggy that's in the YouTube and on my Instagram reels and stuff.
Yeah, and then it's the letter Q and the number.
How did yesterday go? I wasn't able to come because I had my own event. How was that?
Oh, it was
first
great.
Official event.
Well, I've been doing a lot of school talks.
Okay.
But this was
I have
Kuwait English School the other day.
Oh, okay.
Right. I haven't posted about last night's event yet.
Okay.
But that was at Tawassul.
Yes.
Which used to be known as TIES, the Kuwait Society for Cultural Dialogue.
Amazing.
We had a wonderful mix of people again. And this is another thing that, you usually have a mini United Nations whenever you do an event, an invitation.
Yes.
I mean, people from so many different continents.
Mashallah.
And Kuwaitis and expats. And then we also had people join on Zoom. So we could have people from outside of Kuwait join the event as well.
Okay.
And everyone was so engaged. I think people were really excited that we have this official organization.
Yeah, I certainly am.
It's like high expectations. So we have to work really hard.
Okay, but don't put that pressure on you. Just do your best.
Right.
And know
Well, we've been working for years.
Exactly.
I mean,
You
we've
guys have
already
the
been
experience.
doing this for years. I've been going to schools for years.
intention.
I've been writing about this subject for years, rescuing for years, and also working with Touch of Hope, who is doing a phenomenal job since
Mashallah.
over a decade.
Wow.
This is Marlene, the Lebanese lady who has
Yes.
just completely dedicated her life to
Yes.
animals. So I've gotten a lot of experience and have learned a
Amazing.
lot working with her.
She's an amazing individual.
Yeah, she's
She's
incredible.
a hard worker too.
Yeah. So back to what can you do? So follow us on Instagram, share it, attend our events if you can.
Yep.
Teachers and people also, people who have other organizations, community groups, women's groups, business groups, they can request a talk. And I can come. I'm only one person, but I'll do as much as I can, definitely. In terms of community outreach.
Yeah.
And then I always tell people, we all need to be like ambassadors for animals because they don't have a voice. Yeah. And we need to give them a voice. And so if you see abuse, or you speak out, don't put yourself in danger.
Of course.
I mean, we actually have rescued dogs that were used as target practice. We rescued one dog was shot with, I think it must have been like BB guns, more than 600 times. Can you imagine? And by some miracle,
my makeup.
it was horrible. Yeah, they didn't embed themselves in his vital organs by some miracle, and the vet had to, he removed as many as possible. Obviously, he couldn't remove all of them. He had to remove one from the dog's eye, and this dog now he's the sweetest dog.
Oh, okay.
How can people do
I was
that?
about to cry.
Even puppies. And so going back again to the point of cruelty to animals develops into violence against people.
Exactly.
Red flag for our society. This needs to be addressed.
Exactly.
So if you witness something, call the emergency line. Call the authorities, and they will respond. People always say, "Oh, they're not going to do anything." No, they do.
They do.
They do
I've
respond.
never had any bad vibes with any of our local police officers or authorities.
Yeah. And then
Kuwait is very safe.
Yes.
Kuwait is very diverse, and I personally have never had an attitude from anybody. My car has broken down. I don't know how many times at 1 o'clock in the morning. My younger days, we go out shopping, go to the movies, go to restaurants, cafes, and mashallah, all kinds of men will stop on the road. If it's an old man, a young kid with a tattoo and spiky hair, a police officer to help you.
Yes.
And they will not leave you until someone from your family comes. And they don't ask you to get out the car. Police ask you just to roll down your window. I mean, women are really respected here.
This is the wonderful thing about Kuwait. This is the other thing that I really love about living here. And
so with that outreach stuff and and that advice that, we can reach out to the authority to help us. They do care. And a lot of people, there are a lot of animal lovers here.
There are.
And we just need to have a good network of collaboration where it's like a wave.
Yeah.
And then when that wave comes in, high tide, low tide, things are getting done, taken care of instead of little individual pockets.
And also, I always urge people please adopt, don't shop. People are importing breed animals from overseas.
All my
They're paying
cats.
a fortune. How many huskies have we found in the desert? Because huskies are high maintenance dogs. They're bred to work, and they should be like running 25, 30 kilometers a day. And if they don't get the exercise they need, they get frustrated. They'll sit and howl. They'll chew on things. It's not their fault.
Yeah.
They're not meant to live in a desert environment. The heat is very tough on them, and people get frustrated and they throw them out.
That's so
and
sad.
so the other thing is, don't just buy an animal like a fashion accessory. You know, it may be beautiful, but maybe it doesn't suit your family. Like, you should adopt an animal
your home environment.
that fits in with your family's needs.
Yes.
Do you want an active animal? Do you want a lap cat? Do you want a playful cat? And we can advise on that. We can
I like
help
that.
people with that. We can help people, find the animal that's right for them. And also, I like to urge people to think of adopting an adult animal. And it doesn't always have to be puppies or kitten. Puppies are so much work. They're adorable. But if you're not an experienced dog owner, you don't realize how much work it is.
Right.
And the older dogs, if you have a fully grown dog, what you see is what you get, right? In terms of size, in terms of temperament.
Yep.
So that's the other thing. Think of adopting mixed breeds. When you adopt a mixed breed, you have a totally unique animal, right?
Yeah.
It's not...
Being a mixed
yeah.
breed human, I totally agree.
Yeah, it's something totally unique.
Yes.
And usually healthier than the pure breeds. The pure breeds have a lot of health issues because of the way that they have
diversity of the
been
genes,
bred. Yes. And look at pugs and the squished in faces, animals, Persians, ragdolls,
yes.
grumpy face cats.
Yes,
They're
yes.
adorable, but they have breathing issues.
My ragdoll
Right?
is he's the one who's taking the most of our money for his hospital things.
Yes.
I've got a ragdoll. I've got what are these called? Those ear fold.
Scottish fold, yeah.
And British,
Yeah.
and triple fold, and they have respiratory issues.
Yes.
One of our cats, we went to get her spayed, and she, because of the breed that she is, and because if she's third generation, she almost didn't wake up from the anesthesia. And so my daughter was freaking out, and here she is, barely a year old, and she wouldn't wake up.
Yeah.
Because of
Yeah.
these breathing issues.
Yeah, the mixed breeds are
I
a
like
lot
that. That's good advice for
healthier.
our followers. Okay, and you've talked about the role you think education plays in changing the attitude.
Oh, one other thing, Patty, if I
Yeah.
can mention about, how we can help spay and neuter your pets.
Yeah.
This is sometimes a controversial issue, especially in the local culture. And we talked about this last night at Tawassul.
How did that
and we
go?
had Islamic scholars there.
Okay.
So they answered the question, because I've had this discussion with Islamic scholars, and I had one gentleman telling me haram, they have the right to procreate, and so on and so forth. And I said, okay, maybe in a perfect world where all the animals, the puppies and kittens would have good homes and be safe and, live in a good environment as they have the right to live. But I said, here, look at them. They end up on the street. They suffer from injury, abuse, sickness. So
I want to help them all.
yeah, I wish we could. And this is what breaks our heart that we can't, but
So
we,
your
do
advice
as much
is
as we can.
to-
Spay and neuter. And the gentleman, Sheikh Hassan, who's, I'm sure you know him at Tawassul, who's a really brilliant Islamic scholar. And he said, look, in Islam it says that what you do to people and what you do to animals should not harm them. So if spaying and neutering is harming an animal, then you wouldn't do it. But it's actually the opposite. It actually makes them healthier. For the females, I'm sure you know that they don't develop certain kind of cancers.
Yes.
For the males, it makes them more content and more comfortable. So the final conclusion was that no, it's not haram. it's allowed according to the religion.
Yes, we need those kind of outreach programs talking about these issues, because a lot of times in any society, people will hold on to ideas or beliefs that are not true.
Yeah.
And then they're actually sabotaging to the surrounding community. And in this case, this example would be about pets. You know, sometimes people feel uncomfortable to learn new things, and this is why I like Sheikh Hassan, because he gives it to us to learn in a way that you don't feel pressured, and it's very logical and very full of compassion, and I've always appreciated that about him and his talks. So what you've talked about some of the goals that you wanted to do. Okay. So, that, what you just talked about is part of my follow-up question. Have you found any effective methods for engaging in constructive dialogue with maybe critics? And how do you handle opposition or criticism for some of those who may not share your views on animal rights? And because I wanted to touch up on that.
Yeah, we went into that automatically.
Yeah. I've got a game. I want to play a game with you.
Okay.
Yeah, an animal trivia challenge. Yes, just to have some fun. Like quick fire questions, yeah?
Okay. I hope my brain is working quickly.
Because, the reason that I did this game was we originally wanted to do the podcast in the beginning of October for World Animal Day.
Right.
And unfortunately, due to situations with the podcast and then back to school, and you just came back from Umrah and stuff, we only had today to do it. So I had originally did this for World Animal Day.
Right.
But it's still October, so let's do this.
lots of activities taking place all throughout the month.
Exactly.
For World Animal Day.
And around the world, too.
Yeah.
Which animal has the longest lifespan? I was completely shocked by this.
Really?
And don't say turtle, because I know your inclination was going to say turtle.
Yeah, I'm thinking elephant, but I think that's probably not correct.
I was completely shocked that I had to go and Google this.
Wow.
The Greenland shark.
That was on the tip of my tongue.
Really?
Not Greenland, but shark. Yeah.
It didn't even cross my mind. I never knew that sharks lived a long life.
Yeah.
It says they've found Greenland sharks that have been over 400 years old.
That's incredible.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And imagine if we took care of our earth properly.
Yeah. And how many sharks are killed unnecessarily? Like just have their fins whacked off for shark fin soup? I know. Yeah.
So, okay, here's a really easy one. This is one I used to give my kids when I was a teacher. What is the fastest land animal?
Oh, is it the cheetah?
Yes. See, I gave you some nice ones. And then the last one for this game. Which bird is known for its elaborate courtship dance?
I think I've seen that on Animal Planet, but I can't. I mean, peacocks do this beautiful display, but I don't know how elaborate their dance is. No, I don't know that one.
When we're done with the podcast, you got to Google, YouTube some videos.
Okay.
For the birds of paradise. It's hilarious. It's so cute. You know, Riverside type movies in the Wild Wild West.
Right.
The tumbleweeds. Because I'm from Marina Valley, so I'm a little bit more
right next to Riverside.
Yeah, and we actually did grow up with tumbleweed contests. People are gonna laugh at us, but you know what? I don't care. I would do anything to go back to those simple days.
Yes. Riverside, we used to have so many orange groves.
Yeah, I remember. We had in my own yard, our farm, everything.
And we didn't have air conditioning in those days. Although, and it was still, when I was a child, it was still safe enough to leave the windows open.
Yeah.
And when the orange trees would blossom, you would have this heavenly smell drifting through the air. Yeah. And those days when it would be like, we'd get the hot Santa Ana winds. I love those winds. And it would blow out all the smog.
Yes.
And you could see all the mountains around just crystal clear.
Yeah.
It was gorgeous, yeah.
I miss it. I haven't been back in decades.
No, I haven't been back in ages either.
It's, in Mission Inn. We used to go around in the, not the caves.
The catacombs.
Yeah.
I used to work there. I wrote a book about it.
Oh, wow.
I wrote the history of the Mission Inn.
Oh, I don't have that one.
Yeah.
Oh, I want a copy of that one. Oh, well, that'll be a piece of home, and you got to sign it for me. Yeah.
Interesting part of Southern California.
It is.
Yeah.
It's still, I have on my Facebook that we were, because I was a big surfer growing up, but we were cowboys before we were surfers. Yeah.
Yeah, riding horses through the river bottom.
Yep.
The dry river bottom.
Yep.
Riverside has an underground river.
Yes.
And it only comes up in certain places.
Yeah.
And then we had the river bottom where we'd go horseback riding. But the problem was there was quicksand.
Yeah.
And my parents never wanted me to go horseback riding in the river bottom. But of course I always did. Yeah.
That was the fun part. We did one time, oh my God, I don't even remember, but it took us through some areas and hills. We were quite young, and we were hanging out with our older brothers and sisters in our neighborhood gang, and we got the inner tubes of some trucks, the 18-wheelers, and we went on the river and we floated. And I will never ever forget. We landed in a place where there were they were like miner workers, single, like a camp for miner workers.
Oh,
yes, that's how far we went. And childhood was fun. And then our farm was in Paris.
yes, I know Paris, Lake Paris.
Yeah, Lake Paris.
Perris, not Paris.
Yeah. My dad was an avid photographer. That's why I resonate with some of your stuff. He took pictures. I unfortunately don't have them. He took pictures from it's a man-made lake. So he took pictures from the beginning to the end.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and I grew up water skiing there.
Yes, I used to go swimming there.
Yeah. But he did all these kinds of pictures of Lake Paris, and he was so fascinated. Like, how do you build a lake?
Yeah.
It was different times.
Yeah, I think we were fortunate. I mean, I'm much older than you, so I had even more open spaces to run around.
My road was not a paved road. It was a dirt road. And then when we became officially a city, we went from Sunnymead to Moreno Valley. I think it was like the early 80 or 79 or 80. The road that little turn road where my house was the corner of neighbors, the first boy that was born on that road, that's what the lane was named after. And now he's some big shot at MIT, a professor.
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay, our second game, true or false, only 3 questions. Okay. A group of flamingos is called a flamboyance, true or false?
I'll say false. It's true? Oh, my goodness.
Yep. I was shocked when that flamboyance,
wow.
We always use it in a different way, right?
Yeah.
So that's fun.
Okay, I'm being educated today.
Koalas sleep up to 22 hours a day.
I think they do.
They do. I would love to be a koala. Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. That would be so nice. Okay. And these are some interesting facts maybe you know or don't know. The sense of smell. Dogs have an incredible sense of smell, which is estimated to be between 10,000 to 100,000 times more sensitive than humans.
I think so.
Yep.
Yeah, because dogs can even detect early stages of breast cancer.
I have it right here, which is
that your next question?
Yeah. Some dogs can detect medical conditions such as cancer, diabetes, and seizures before they occur.
Yes, seizures. Oh, can I tell you an amazing story about seizures?
Yeah.
My son's friend just picked up this stray dog off the street, just a normal mixed stray, adopted him, and became, they were just soulmates. They had, this really close relationship. And that guy has epilepsy. And, in the States, they train dogs to warn people with epilepsy so that when they're going to have a seizure, they can sit down and let the seizure pass safely. And so this dog just started doing this funny bark before the guy would have a seizure and warning him of his seizure.
Wow.
And so he became just an instant therapy dog without any training, but just from this, instinctive love and concern and willingness to protect his owner.
Yeah.
So this is another thing that you see this, like, it's a God-given relationship really between
man's best friend.
between people and dogs and other animals.
Yeah.
It's something that it's a big blessing that we should really cherish and respect.
Yes. It's a bond. It's a bond with our little fur babies. Wow. I mean, that's potentially life-saving for so many individuals.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Okay, to cats, my favorite ones. Cats spend about 70% of their lives sleeping. True or false?
They do sleep a lot.
They do. They're so cute.
Yeah.
I love them. I got to show you pictures of the new kittens that we have. We got 4 new kittens. Cats meow to communicate with humans and not with other cats.
I think that's true. Yeah.
Which was, when I tell people that, they're like, no. So when it's a kitten, like now I have 4 new kittens at home, when she wants to talk to her baby, she's not meowing them, meow. It's kind of like these little grunts.
Yeah.
And these little purrs. And she taught them, today she was showing them how to use the sandbox. It was so, they're like that big. I got to show you pictures. So when we hear cats meowing, it's because they've adapted and evolved, and they know that's how to communicate with us, and they're actually trying to vocalize with us.
It's incredible.
Isn't it? So if you see them in the wild, there's the howling, there's the purring, there's the grunts with that particular, what we call the meow.
Yes.
It's for humans only.
Amazing.
Right?
Amazing, yeah.
Look at these. Look at these. Look at these. Look at these.
Oh, my goodness.
Can you guys see?
Oh, they are adorable.
They are.
My
And the
goodness.
father,
Yeah.
look, that's the mom.
Oh,
and that one looks like the father.
Beautiful.
The father hangs around. He helps groom them.
Yeah.
When she goes and takes a break and wants to go in the garden, he sits with them so the other cats don't come and bother. He protects them.
Yes, I've seen that in stray cats that like I've had outside in the garden. Like we have our inside cats, we have our Liwan cats, and we have the outside ones.
Exactly. Like us.
And I've witnessed that
Bedliat on
behavior.
100.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when she was delivering, her one paw was out because she was laying on the side, and I posted on Instagram. He put his paw and he was touching her paw while she was delivering. I was just like, oh,
incredible!
They're so cute.
Yeah,
Their love story. It's adorable. Now to birds. Do you have any birds?
Oh, I used to.
Okay.
I used to. Yeah, I love birds. They have such big personalities in these tiny little bodies. And my birds were actually also rescues.
Wow.
And they landed at my back door for a reason.
Wow.
I've written stories about them because
they just show up.
They just turned up. I had one that turned up a few years ago in the summer, and he was like half dead. I don't know how he made it over the wall and to my very back door, to my doormat. And I opened the door like 3 p.m, and we used to have one of the outside cats. She was really a hunter, and that was her place. She was always on the mat.
Yeah.
For some reason, she wasn't there, and I opened the door, and I saw this little bird, and he was a Latino lovebird, beautiful, different colors. And so I scooped him up, and I took him inside, and I dripped water in his mouth, and I wiped his feathers with water, and then I put him in a nice safe place. I had a cage, and I said, okay, I'm going to leave him, and inshallah he's going to revive. But I didn't know would he make it or not.
Yeah.
And then when I checked on him, he was fine, and he became the boss of the house. His name was Marvin, and he would boss around the cats, and he was like a child. And we had him flying around inside the house most of the day.
Wow.
And when he didn't want to go to bed, he would like fly up the arm of my husband's dishtasha, and he was so cheeky. And he would always want to eat whatever you were eating. Oh. But the thing is, he arrived at a really, really gloomy time in our family's life. That my father-in-law had been diagnosed with cancer, and it was just a really sad time. You know, it was this big black cloud hanging over the house. And so cheeky Marvin just arrived, and he really, he did his role just to cheer everyone up.
That's amazing.
Yeah, he was incredible.
What a nice story. I love it. So bone structure, most bird bones are hollow, what makes them lighter and helps them fly. True or false?
That sounds logical.
Yeah. I didn't know that was new for me. It's true. Yes. Parrots can mimic human speech and understand complex concepts.
Oh, yes.
True.
Yeah.
Yes.
Myna birds as well.
Wow. Yeah. I've never had big birds. My daughter loves birds. I'm not a particular fan of birds. Like, it's not that I don't like them. I'm more scared of them because they move so quick for me that it makes me like, oh, it's kind of like the mouse. It just kind of moves really quick.
Right. They can startle you.
Yeah. And but my daughter, at one point, I think we had over like 14 birds in our sunroom.
Oh my goodness!
They were having babies and stuff like that, like parakeet, all kinds of birds. My daughter loves birds to this day, but the cat's one in my house. So now this is not true or false. This is just now fun facts. Contrary to popular belief, goldfish have a memory span of at least 3 months and can distinguish between different shapes, colors, and sounds, which I thought was amazing.
It is incredible.
But we always say, "Oh, I have the memory of a goldfish," which is the opposite.
We really underestimate animals in so many respects.
Because I was looking up pets, and I was like, a goldfish has memory for 3 months?
Yeah. I went to a doctor's office recently, and on the reception desk, they had this tiny little bowl with a goldfish in it, and the bowl was like not much bigger than the size of my fists. And I said, how can you keep this fish in there? I said, and he said, it's a fish. And I said, no. I said, it needs to move. It's going crazy in there. It's like in solitary confinement.
Oh my God.
It's torture.
It is.
But, he thought, it's just a fish.
Decor.
It's just a fish. It's a decoration. Yeah, but it's a soul.
What are we going to do? Did they change the bowl?
Nope.
I'm going to go buy a bowl. Tell me where.
Yeah.
Fish use gills to extract oxygen from the water. And which is highly efficient process compared to how humans breathe air. Which I know fish breathe, but I never realized that their gill. I don't know that much, even though I'm from California. That was a fun fact for me to learn.
Interesting.
Yes. Oh, and this one. Did you know, just like humans, cats can be left-pawed or right-pawed. Oh. And studies show that more male cats tend to be left-pawed, while more female cats are right-pawed.
Wow, I'll have to pay attention to my cats.
Yeah, I did. I didn't come to any conclusion, but I was like, oh, wow, they're just like us. And dogs can sense human emotions and often respond to their owner's feelings, providing comfort and companionship. My cats do that. When I'm having a bad day, all of a sudden, and I'll go to lay down because I'm the first thing I do to cope with something. If it's not like, one of those off days, I go and I lay down on my bed and just shut off and not play. And my cats they will come. There'll be like 6 or 7 on me, different places, purring.
Yes.
Purring, a different kind of the normal purr. Yeah. It's like they know that something's wrong with me.
Yeah, they do.
It's amazing.
And there's something about the decibel level of the purring of a cat that has a healing effect for us. And all these studies have shown that spending quality time with cats is actually good for your cardiovascular system. Yes. It boosts your heart health. And of course, it reduces stress. And I sometimes I ask when I'm giving a talk, I say, who has had the experience of having a purring cat on their lap? And how does it make you feel? Yes. And everyone says it makes you feel good, happy, relaxed. Exactly. And there's science behind that. Yeah. And again, it's I think
we're meant to live in harmony.
Yes.
With all of Allah's creations.
Yeah.
We're meant to live in harmony.
And they give us so much, and they don't ask for much in return.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
Just the basics, subhanAllah. So, in like one sentence, we're coming a little bit towards the end now. What is, like, in one sentence, the main goal that you have for the new organization for this upcoming year, while you guys are still, going through some of the loopholes and official things? What's your main goal that you think you guys are going to work on?
Right. Well, this is pretty general, but I would say, like, to promote compassion and to make life better for animals in Kuwait, which consequently also makes life better for people.
Okay. I love that. Very, very, very beautiful. So I used to be a teacher. You know that. And this mirror is about 25 years old, about 20 years old. And I used to give this to the little KG kids. And so it's all abused and everything, but now I'm using it for the podcast. So basically, I would give it to the kids because I believe in the power of, we sabotage when we self-talk. We all do as human beings. And I believe that sometimes when we have a belief and we're like, you know what, I'm going to walk my 10,000 steps today. I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. It's always at a personal level. So what I'm doing is, with the different guests on the podcast, it's like I want you to say something positive about the new organization and what you believe in talk to the Claudia that's in charge of that, the version of Claudia that's in charge of that, and look in the mirror and say, X, Y, and Z is going to happen because I believe in you.
Okay. Wow, that's a
and
big
I
one.
want to take a picture of you doing it.
All right. Well, I'm going to say that you can do it. You're going to make this work. It's going to be successful, and it's going to be something that is going to carry on for generations, long after you're gone.
I love it. Amazing. Let me take a picture. Just kind of hold the mirror closer to you, and I'll make a nice, cute picture.
Okay.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, this is, I've been using this technique, and I used it, and I also used it when I was a therapist for autistic children. The power of looking in a mirror, and the whole concept of the invention of the mirror. Because even if you watch animals, I have those floor mirrors that are kind of like that mirror that's there. They go up to it and they're curious and they're looking at it. And there's different research on different animals and what their level of intelligence is what they see reflecting. Yeah. But sometimes when we sit, it's like, especially for women, we just go and we sit and we're looking in the mirror because we have a function to get done. We got to put on our mascara or brush our hair. But then we're told at night, reflect on your day, reflect on your life. We're told in religion, but we're never taught to use the mirror properly to reflect on ourselves and look at ourselves.
Good point.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true.
And I want to use the mirror in a different way.
In a positive way.
Yeah, in a deeper and positive way. And I used to tell the little kids, what do you see? What do you see? And you believe it or not, even at that age, KG age, and they're just like, no confidence and don't know. No, look in the mirror, Omar. Look at how cute you are. Yeah, and what is Omar going to do tomorrow? Like if they had, something that didn't go well, if it was like a puzzle or a toy or something, tomorrow Omar is going to conquer the puzzles. That's right.
Nice.
So I want to, any of my guests that come on, that's what I want to give, because we feel silly, but I practice it every day, maybe because I'm a Leo, but it is uncomfortable. I sit in the mirror, I'm like, you are beautiful, you are successful, you are a good mother, you are an amazing wife, your husband's lucky to have you. Because so many people self-sabotage and they think it's a form of being humble.
Right.
But it's not. It's your lack of belief in yourself. And that ties into our spirituality, because this is yakin. This is belief that God created me for a reason and a purpose. And I need to tap into that. And I cannot tap into that if I'm scared and I don't believe in myself. And it's not being humble, but to look in the mirror, not to put your mascara on, but to look in the mirror and truly reflect on yourself and the creation that God has given you in this temporary life, in this temporary body. Say, I'm going to take care of the soul that's inside, and I'm going to take care of the person that's on the outside, because it's a gift, hadiyah min Allah, and use my time wisely on this earth. And so that's why I added that. And our last part.
An affirmation.
Yeah. And visual affirmation. I believe in journaling, but I also believe in visual affirmation, because we're visual, especially with everything on social media. I have, unfortunately, women in my life that they're getting a type of dysmorphia about their looks. They cannot take a picture without a filter. It's literally quite sad. And I listened to, one of my biggest mentors in life, and for the last 30 years of my life since I've been educated, Dr. Gabor Mate. He's big at psychology and child psychology stuff, and he came out on his podcast the other day, and he said, we are now facing children that have dysmorphia about the way they look and the reality they live in. They don't even identify as humans anymore.
Oh, that's horrible.
Because of the filters they're using and playing with. And that, to me, I mean, that's me
scary.
and my rabbit holes.
Scary.
That's turning into, I identify as a cat today. You have heard those stories? That's unfortunately plaguing our country over there. People starting to identify as animals.
That's strange,
And we're watching this generation as they grow. We have to be careful of that, because not only are they trying to confuse this agenda about gender, but they're trying to confuse this agenda about what is your khalaq min Allah, what are you a creation of? They're trying to blur those lines too. My rabbit hole. I should do a whole podcast on rabbit hole stuff.
So many pressures on young people these days.
And me and my oldest daughter, we always talk about it, because we didn't know, when social media came out, and then she was being exposed to it, and then I was just learning it, and it was like, the way I view the world is going to be different than a teenage girl or a young girl. And she said that I'm so proud of all the coaches and different kinds of people that I see coming on now. But when it first started out, social media, it was a really dark place. If you weren't taking pictures of food, you were a really depressed person. It was from her perspective. I never thought of it that way. And she goes, now I see, especially when it's coming to like women's acceptance of her body, acceptance of our moods, acceptance. It wasn't there. It was like you had to have this picture perfect mentality, all glitz and glam.
But that goes way back. I mean, just look at
journaling,
the magazines.
Yes,
also
exactly.
With these images of how women are supposed to look.
It goes way back. So that's like the newest form of it. But I never realized that as a parent. I wasn't aware of that could have that influenced on how she viewed herself. As a woman, and she's like, my kids aren't getting the phone anytime soon. When she gets married and has kids, inshallah. How's it being a grandma?
Oh, it's wonderful.
I want to be a grandma. Wonderful. You hear that? I want to be a grandma, kids. My kids will watch me on YouTube and be like, oh, God, she's
embarrassing. Right? It's all going to happen at the right time.
Inshallah,
And nowadays, this generation, they're having kids later in life. The women want to finish their education. They want to work, start a career. So,
everybody has their time.
Inshallah, everything happens
what's
at the
What's
right
their
time.
plan?
Faisal and I, we have a lot of fun. And he's a huge animal lover.
That's
already.
Amazing. That's amazing. So, do you guys are planning to have maybe outreach programs for very young kids and not just in the schools like you've been doing?
Definitely. Well, I've been to nursery schools.
Oh, really?
So, I met these incredible 3-year-olds that were they totally got it, you know? I mean, they were so on board. But on the other hand, I also went to a nursery school once years ago, and I brought these adorable little kittens along, and there were some little boys, and they were like, as if I had brought, you know, a man-eating anaconda or something. I mean, they were terrified. And I thought,
no exposure.
How can you be terrified of a kitten, you know? And it had to come from home.
Right.
There are a lot of adults that seem to have phobia of cats, and they pass on this fear.
Yep.
They pass on. I don't know if it's, you know, here, like sometimes you'll be walking and a cat will pop out of the garbage can and startle you or something. But cats don't attack you. I mean, no. But somehow cats have gotten this bad rap that a lot of people think of them as vermin, because, you know, they think of them as like cockroaches or rats in the same category, because they always see them hanging around the garbage. They think they're dirty. But I mean, cats and all animals are inherently clean.
Yeah.
They want to be clean. It's just as a result of the environment that people have put them in.
Right.
And you know, if the cats are out on the street, they have to go to the garbage to find food.
Right.
So it's the fault of people,
of our community,
for giving them this negative image.
Yes.
So that's another thing, again, that we keep saying education.
Yeah, my trip in Tanzania, and seeing how they lived so harmoniously, and these people are really poor, right?
That must have been an interesting place to visit.
Complete harmony with goats, chickens, cats, dogs. Complete harmony, and very clean.
Nice, yeah.
Very clean. Nice system to clean out the pens for the chickens. Dogs are well cared for, and the love is there. It's education.
It says a lot about the society. Yeah.
It does. Well, thank you for coming and blessing my podcast. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you for having me.
I put all the information where to find the organization and help as much as I can.
Appreciate that.
With your guys' goals and being a part of that journey with you. Before we go, you get to ask me any question that's on your mind. It doesn't have to be related to anything, whatever you want to ask.
Right. And well, you've done so many different things and the, you know, different different fields that you've worked in, and you've put them all together. Yeah. And now this podcast is something fairly new.
Yeah.
What's next?
My book.
Oh, okay.
I'm almost done with it. And
great.
yeah, and actually, since you are a book writer and a published book writer, mashallah, I would love if you could help me edit it.
I'd love to read it
before I give it to the publisher. My goal is to publish it by January for New Year's. And that was on my bucket list too.
Fantastic.
So it's about nutrition with spirituality mixed in with it, and taking care of our bodies. That is this gift from God, and taking care of our minds. And
sounds really interesting. You're the woman to do the job.
Yep, that's next. My book.
Great.
Yeah, my friend, the founder of Sanctuary, Asia. She's been pushing me, because you've seen some of my stuff. I'm a really avid writer, and I'm really good with words, and there's no excuse for it. It's just my own fear, and no, I have a lot to say, and now I have the time, and there's a lot of things I want to leave behind.
Right.
Knowledge that
part of your legacy,
and make my legacy and build it and leave something behind that when I go to meet my God, inshallah, it's something I can be proud of.
Right. I like how you say you have the time, because you're such a busy lady, but I think you should say you're making the time.
Yeah.
You have to make the time for the things that are important to you. It's rare that you'll just sit around and say, oh, I've got half a day to kill. What am I going to do, right? I wish. And I always think time is such a gift.
It is
I feel that so many people are just wasting their time.
Yeah.
And, that's
a very good
That's
advice.
sad. We're so fortunate here. Most of us, have help in the house.
Yeah.
We have a nice life.
Yes.
Yeah. So you really want to just utilize your time.
Yeah.
It's a gift.
It is a gift. Time is a gift because
Yeah.
we never know when it's going to end. And yeah, I do. I make the time. I've always been like that. But there was a time period of my life where I wasted a lot of time. And then, like I always say, you just come to a point in your life where you take the red pill instead of the blue pill, and you get out of the matrix. And that's what I've done. And I'm not going to waste any more time on fruitless things.
Right.
It helps my life or other people's lives in this dunya. And it is a building block for my life in the hereafter.
Yeah.
That is my only goal in life.
Yeah.
Is it going to help me here? And is it going to help me in the hereafter? And I wasn't always like that. As you get older and as life happens and circumstances happen and your kids get older and then you realize they're their own entity too and they have their own way of thinking and you mature as a woman. And then me overcoming my disease from God's blessings, but also my hard work of paying attention to my nutrition and my emotions and healing traumas and blah, blah, blah. That's when I really opened my eye that we can tap into that energy field, the divine. It's Allah, but there's layers.
Yeah.
And there's a whole energy field that we can tap into it, and people are not tapping into it properly. Some people or organizations are tapping into it for the wrong reasons.
Right.
And I rather download from the divine than from the dunya distractions. That's just me. That's who I am now in my life, and I'm proud of it.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah.
You got things figured out.
Like you said, yeah. I like to make the time because God has blessed me. He's blessed me with a big heart. He's blessed me with skills that I can use to help myself and help others. And he's blessed my mind with ability to... People always say, oh, you're like a researcher. Me and my friend were really close and we call each other researchers. And I am a researcher. But most of all, I'm a connector. And I connect things that people probably wouldn't even think of.
Yeah.
And that's the only way that I can spread awareness. And that's why for years I wanted to make this podcast, but I was like, what am I going to talk about? Lupus, spices, cooking. There were so many topics.
Right.
And then I realized, no, I just want to talk. And with the people that have been part of my journey while I've spent half of my life in this country.
Right.
And that's been the fun part because you get to see a part of Kuwait that nobody's seen. You get to see people, their passions, their causes, and maybe just look at things differently.
Yeah.
Especially with everything that's going on, the aggression that we're seeing in the world. We are not terrorists.
Yeah. That's why I always loved my work as a photojournalist.
Yeah.
Because I could just go and meet complete strangers and ask them lots of questions.
Yes.
And, just learn about what
them.
are they doing.
Yes.
And
now
doing with their
we're
lives.
waiting for a story about animals in Kuwait.
Inshallah.
I
That's
think
a big one.
It's going to be beautiful.
Inshallah.
It's going to be beautiful. Thank you for what you do and all the team that you have, small but strong.
Yes, we have wonderful people.
Yes, dedicated
working together.
and working. And I am positive that you guys are going to make a beautiful impact and a strong impact on
Inshallah.
Kuwait and the animals that we have here. And thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Nice to be here. You too.
Bye, everybody. You'll find all the details for Claudia's organization and ways that you can help. And if you have any questions, just write a comment. And until next time, bye.